how it started was really from trying to find the problem. That was where it started. We had, you know, an ambition to do something, but, you know, without the problem, that's the crucial bit. And we designed the solution for the problem after that. So, and that sets you on your way.
Hello and welcome to this week's very special edition of Student Enterprise TV. We're joined by Hamish, who you'll hear about very, very shortly. Student Enterprise TV is your weekly source of inspiration, practical tips and nonsense to help you on your entrepreneurial journey. And I'm your host, Callum with a K. Hamish, thanks for joining us. How are you today?
I'm great. I hope you're good too, Callum.
So nice. I am. I'm really good, thank you. It's great to be speaking to you. So, Hamish, tell us about yourself. Where did you study? All that good stuff, right back as far as you want to share with us. Tell us all about it.
I went to, I studied at Edinburgh University. I studied mathematics and physics. Started in 2015 and did 4 years. That was as much as I could hack. Couldn't really do much more than that. It's very, very intense course. And over that time, I found quite a lot of, you know, things that interested me very early on. It was in sports, but around about my second year of university, I started to kind of get onto the journey that's led me to today. So that's really when I started to engage more with all the academic societies and more of the interesting stuff that really challenges you. And I joined a society called Hyped, so Hyperloop Edinburgh. That was at the time, very small society. We went from, we were probably about 20 folks back then, you know, not too many. And we were challenged with the task of building Hyperloop pods and bringing them to the SpaceX facility in LA and testing them in a mile-long tube in front of, you know, the likes of Elon Musk and, you know, SpaceX engineers. So no doubt that piques everybody's interest, actually, whenever you talk about that is, Elon Musk, Elon Musk. But really for us, it was about the tech. It was about doing something cool. And we went through, you know, that was really what took me on that first year took me on that journey. And each year I kept coming back for more. And just by the time I got to the end of university, you know, I was ready to start doing the same kind of stuff, innovating, coming up with new systems, finding a problem and trying to, you know, solve it from start to finish. And that really inspired me to then go on and leave university rather than stay on and do academia, which works for many people. You know, it's whatever floats your boat, really. But for me, it had to be independent. So that's what's led me to today, really. And that's my background. That's where I came from, is, you know, tech.
That's very cool. And you make a great point. You know, everyone has their own path. This is when you've chosen it's right for you, and others choose their own path, and that's really cool. And you just casually name dropped Elon Musk and SpaceX in there. Did you meet Elon?
I mean, I'm not going to say I met him. You can't really meet the guy. He just, he's a bit awkward. You know, that's, you know, he thinks very fast. Clearly, he's somebody that's constantly got something in his mind that's working, and the cogs are turning all the time. But you know, when we did speak to him, the first year we weren't very, you know, prominent in the teams. We were very young, very fresh. The second year we came back, you know, strong. We came back with a very good prototype, you know, that was actually ranked 6th in the world at that, you know, after that stage. So yeah, we did well for Edinburgh University, and we did well for ourselves to get all the way there. And as part of that, one of the reasons we did so well was because of the systems we were pioneering. We pioneered loads of carbon fiber. Magnetic propulsion is something that you know, you see on maglev trains, but we tried to do it with permanent magnets at the time, and that was something that piqued the interest of lots of engineers there. And ultimately, when, you know, Elon Musk was doing the rounds and seeing what the teams were doing, the fact that we could do, you know, something as pioneering as that and combine it with something that they're very interested in, which was regenerative braking, so recharging batteries off that system, was, you know, which, you know, the Tesla cars do. That's that's something that, of course, for a second made him go, ooh, let's take a look at that. But no, really, we didn't meet him too in depth. It was really just an overview of what we were doing, and it was cool stuff. Anyone would be interested, really.
No, great stuff, and also well done for being sixth in the world. Not many folk can say that. That's a fantastic achievement in the whole world.
Yeah, out of all the things to do, Hyperloop isn't even a reality, or in a way, a lot of the students that turn up there, we've kind of invented our own industry, because it's nowhere right now, but those were some of the first prototypes. That one that we came sixth with was only the second UK prototype, and we'd already built the first. So I mean, very new stuff. But so you can always spin some things, and certainly calling it the second prototype in the UK was a good tagline.
I'm a marketing guy, I get that. Changing gears then for a second, if we can. Let's talk about your family. Does anyone in your immediate family, parents, etc., have their own business already? Do you come from an entrepreneurial background?
I mean, I grew up in Glasgow, and still in touch with loads of my friends back there, and my family actually came over to Edinburgh in the end. All of the siblings went to Edinburgh University, but I mean, we've always been. There's been self-starters in our family for a while, not necessarily in the area that I'm in now, but there's always been that kind of streak for trying to further themselves and do something independently, and maximize the potential of what they're doing. But in terms of what going to university and then coming out and trying to do something quite high tech, definitely the first in that sense. And I think that kind of applies to a lot of people that end up going on to do this stuff. Not many people actually have an entrepreneurial background in their family, so in no way is like a precursor to going on to do something yourself. If anything, it's actually more impressive if you've managed to start off the back of no advice, and done it all yourself. That's in the initial stages. You need to get other people on board. You need to be realistic about that. But
that's a great point. The fact that it's not a precursor, I have to echo that. I think it's a really great point. So don't worry if you're watching and you don't know anyone else in business. We'll be your friends, and you don't need it to make it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure how I've felt around here as well. Is that the entrepreneurial community, at least in Scotland, Edinburgh, Glasgow, and the support of the universities as well, and you can really immerse yourself in quite a community of entrepreneurs. Not all will stay doing it, not all are made to do it, but everybody's supportive and everybody's creating a community that you can go ask questions and really find your way.
Absolutely. So let's get to the tough questions now. We've been a bit nice so far. I'm just kidding. Where did the idea come from? Which you kind of touched on in your story, with the Hyperloop project, and tell us more about Lenz Loop in your business just now.
So we finished university and graduated. There was a few of us that were looking at trying to either just test the waters on trying to do something like becoming an entrepreneur, or starting a company, trying to solve a problem, or just going on and finding jobs, and trying to develop ourselves a bit more before we maybe came back to that in the future. We're never going to ditch what we did as part of Hyped and what we did as in that like society setting. We just needed to further it to the next stage. And maybe that wasn't, the right time to do it, but maybe it was. And, we were out of university a couple of months. We found the problem of leaves on the line. It's not very difficult to find train delays. That's something that's, far more common. The reasons behind it are also, very complex and not a problem that you can just chalk down to any simple fix. It requires a lot of investment and a lot of innovation to be able to solve these issues. And that was really something we were looking for too. We found that problem. and realized that we could build a company to solve that problem, and we could design a new solution to do that, and that's really where, about a year ago, so about October in 2019, we were beginning to test some of these ideas, and we got lucky with a few grant bodies and funding agencies to get to the stage where we had enough of an idea to present to them, and they had enough confidence in it that they could commit the money. And from there, we've just grown it. So yeah, how it started was really from trying to find the problem. That was where it started. We had an ambition to do something, but without the problem, that's the crucial bit. And we designed the solution for the problem after that. So and that sets you on your way.
Something we're really big on, and you mentioned the word problem there 3 times in the last sentence. It's so accurate and so on point. Businesses have to solve problems commercially. That's the only thing they do to support all the emotion and all the jargon and everything else. Businesses exist to solve problems commercially, and that's it. So it's so important. If you haven't found the right problem yet, just keep looking. Equally, if you haven't got the right solution, just keep looking. It's so important. So yeah, I think that's a really great point. What's been the biggest challenge so far? I'm sure there've been many for most business owners. All business owners are challenges every day.
No, for sure. I mean, I think especially when you start with a team, it is easier to spread that load. I'm honestly look at amazement at people that try to do this on their own. I think that it's so tricky to be able to balance everything, and I think ultimately you need capacity in your team to be able to grow. So we started from a good position in that sense. We started to build a team. We were really small though. We needed to expand, and we're starting to get to that stage now, as you know, that we're beginning to expand. But in terms of like challenges, I think for each of those individuals in the team, we really, face different challenges in trying to, just based off your responsibilities. So for me, one of the things that, always is always at, the forefront of my mind, the kind of thing that, would maybe, as they say, keep you up at night or you wake up in cold sweats is really, is money for me. It's about funding the business, providing the finance to grow. That is always a priority for me, and always something that is part of my role, and I'm responsible for. So for me, that's been a massive challenge, being able to, we got, as I said earlier, we got lucky with some grants early on, but it runs out, and it runs out quick, especially if you're trying to grow. So you need to always be looking that step ahead to be able to find the next thing. Nothing takes, you apply for a grant, it's not going to come in three months. And when and even if it does come in 3 months, they're not going to give you all the money in one lump sum. It's going to be staged, and there's going to be, delays on that as well, especially if it's government funding. So, there's so many different facets that will hold you up, that starting as early as possible is crucial. But there's so many different parts of the project that require that early start. The tech needs to be started early. You need to start making those early strides. Same with the commercial. You need to engage with customers really early too, and potential industry experts. And those are, all of those different aspects need to start early, and that's where the capacity comes in. It's often too much for one person, but all those things present big challenges, and to each person it's different. But if you're asking personally, funding's been the thing that always is a challenge for me. But really every area is a challenge.
It's a really interesting point. I had a conversation yesterday with someone I know who was saying that there are so many businesses that rely on funding, and unfortunately don't make the switch to customer funded growth or going out to the market, possibly because the tech it's so advanced it doesn't need grant funding. Part of this, maybe the owner is frightened to actually show anyone because it's your baby. You spent months in a lab in a dark room building a bit of tech, and then you almost don't want to show anyone to get that criticism. So it's like we hear all these horror stories, but you just can't rely on grant funding because as you said, it can dry up. And there are also milestones to hit, and it's not guaranteed. Neither is customer funded or sales, but you need to, at some point, make that brave step and do that. And it's something we're trying to encourage every business we work with is to do that as early as possible, just to get the experience of dealing with customers, handling rejection, tweaking products, taking their feedback in a positive way, and also just having that income. So as happens, Hamish and I got sidelined, so let's get back on track. Hamish, what is Lenz Loop's unique selling point, USP, or how are you guys different to the competition?
So what we provide is we look at the problem of low adhesion, which is ultimately arises from vegetation that's crushed onto damp rails, and this then creates a really smooth, slippery surface that the train wheels then slip on. And as a result, the driver can't control the wheels when they're trying to brake or when they're trying to accelerate, and you can encounter dangerous scenarios where trains can come close to derailing or run over stations and junctions that then cause knock-on effects to the whole service, and then further trains become delayed. So as what our product is to try and come into the market to present something new to tackle that wheel slip, our product effectively against other existing solutions provides safer and predictable braking control delivered to the driver, so that they have the data of the onboard systems and what's being what the current state of affairs is, and how they can adjust their behavior to match that, whilst also producing more acceleration performance, so that your train gets up to speed faster, more energy efficiently, and also decelerates safely at high speed as well. So our USP against those existing products is the safe and predictable part of our product. Currently, they've not got that data. Currently, they've not got that effectiveness, and that's really where we come in with our product.
Fantastic. That was very comprehensive. I enjoyed that. It was good. Even I understood that as well, so it was good.
Yeah, I mean they've tried, Network Rail and ScotRail and all of the the big companies that operate on our railways across Scotland and the UK. They all do a good job of trying to get the word out there as to why this happens, and they all do a really good job about trying to invest in new solutions, making sure the trains are always safe. That's a crucial part of it, is that you need to get on your train and know that it's safe, and they are the best custodians of that. They do everything in their power to make sure. Ultimately, it has to come at the sacrifice of demand, because if a train's going too fast and it has this problem, then that's a safety hazard. So to mitigate that, they put speed restrictions on the line, so 10% of journeys are usually hampered by that, and that's to keep you safe. That's why they're doing that. Ultimately, people just see that they're frustrated by it. That it causes delays, it causes less trains to come through the platform per hour, and therefore more people on the platform, less people getting on trains, and that's ultimately what you see at the end. It's all the things before that you would never compromise. You would never compromise your safety like that. And we're just trying to add another tool to their belt to get it up to speed again, get it up to what the passengers expect, and to still maintain that high level of safety.
Brilliant. No, that sounds really good. And part of it to me sounds like a communication issue or challenge for them as much as anything. Like the safety thing is great, they take it so seriously, but I think as well as a customer, just having that communication, that open and honest. I mean, until I met you, I kind of had a vague idea that this might be an issue, but I didn't quite know the context of it fully. So I think just like a communication thing, like anything in business and life, it's all about communication.
Yeah. No, I mean they've also been trying to expand that, and I guess they're still on their way to getting there. Part of the strategy is to make the rail more digital, make sure that passengers all have the real-time data and what's going on, and that's that's part of the aims, is developing that communication. So hopefully in the future we'll see that really have its effect, and passengers really begin to understand the problems. Like you said, as you just met me, you understand it all. Hopefully your phone can do exactly the same thing in the future.
Hamish, my phone can never replace you. Come on. So I think you've kind of answered the next question, which is who's your target audience? Train companies. Unless there's anything urgent you want to add to that, or burning you want to add to that, we can move on to the next question.
Well, yeah, I mean, we, train companies, so train operating companies, talks, really any and all. We're always, trying to engage with as many as possible. It's a really close-knit industry. Everybody's really friendly, especially with young entrepreneurial talent. They love to, give us a platform to come in, ask the questions we need to ask, free of charge. It is a great industry to try and come into, because they encourage innovation. But so I mean, really with them, talks, industry, bodies such as the RSSB and the Department for Transport, and these are, key stakeholders. Network Rail, the infrastructure owners, they're also very key to, allowing anything to come onto the rails in the end. But we're also looking further afield to automation. We've looked at how we can apply our technology to improve efficiency in warehouses, to improve the design and build of warehouses, whether they can build up rather than out, just because our technology provides greater incline capability, so can get up a bigger hill on a rail. Those kind of things. We are trying to expand out. We're trying to speak to stakeholders across other industries as well, because there's a potential there, and that's really the customers we're currently targeting. But anyone that's really interested in getting in touch, happy to speak to them at this stage.
I'm glad I asked though. That was almost a very bad assumption on my part. So I'm glad that you kept that I did ask, and that you challenged my very small, narrow definition. And it's great that you're thinking of other industries and other use cases. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that's for anybody really. There's always experts in the field that can give you a bit of time to speak to you, and are happy to do that. Always worth engaging with them.
Hamish, how well did university prepare you for running your own business?
Yeah, so I think university, it is what you make it, really. It's not like school in the sense that you're kind of guided through, and you can add things along the way, but really you have a set path there. University, your path is what you want, really. Certainly at undergrad, at least, when you're going through your undergraduate degree, you have 4 years to learn about your degree, or what you're meant to be doing. For me, it was maths and physics, and that should give you some expertise in the areas that you're looking towards. But it's the things you supplement that with. Hyped was massive towards my journey. That Hyperloop experience was, not something that would be applied after university, but there's so many lessons to be learned as part of that it really is what you make it university. Add all the societies and stuff to it. University supplies you with the the course, the core understanding, but they also supply you with the means to have societies and those kind of non-commercially orientated organizations that give you the freedom to innovate, give you the freedom to do something new. So I can only encourage to get stuck into those things. Those are what will make it will be what maximizes what you get out of university, really, and using all of the resources that they make available to you.
That's such a great answer. It's almost like we rehearsed it, but I promise we didn't. But no, it's so true though, because we hear a lot of students and graduates we work with say, "Oh, but entrepreneurship was never mentioned at uni." But as you said, the ball's really in your court. Take the ownership for your learning, your experience, your life, and go out and seek. And if there isn't a society, create your own. You cannot blame other people. You've got to take ownership. We're all adults here, so if you want something bad enough, make it happen.
Precisely.
And that leads us very nicely to the very last question, which is for the many, many millions of students and graduates who are watching this interview right now, and they're maybe thinking of starting a business, they're a student or a graduate. Hamish, what advice would you have for them, please?
I mean, all I can say on that front is to give it a shot. It's not for everybody. You don't need to go into this thinking that it's going to be your life. You're choosing to be an entrepreneur, because I think you just you try and make your way and you try and you force yourself, and no matter what, you will learn so much across the, whether you do it for 6 months, you do it for a year, you do it for 5, 10 years. I'm only at the year stage, and I can already tell you how much you learn in that first year that will be applicable to whatever you do afterwards. If you go on to work a job or whatever, it's going to be worth something, and you're going to learn something. So the only thing I can encourage is, if you're thinking about it, you don't need to worry about it not being for you. Just go give it a shot and see what happens.
Another great answer. It's great stuff. And I think something we see quite a lot is physically look at what the worst thing that could happen is if your business doesn't work out. So if it doesn't work out, it better prepares you for your next business, almost like your apprenticeship. Or if you decide it's not for you at all and go and get a job, as you say, there are transferable skills that benefit you in a job. And most employers are looking for entrepreneurial skills. It's like almost the number one skill that all employers look for. If you've started your own business, think of what that says about you. You're independent, you're a self-starter, you can take responsibility. There's a lot of pros. There are very few negatives. So I think if you are watching and you are thinking about it, just do it, as you said, Hamish. So great stuff. Thank you for echoing that.
No problem. I think you've put it perfectly. It's all about trying to do something new, or just even doing something from the past, trying something again. If you feel like you want to do it, just do it.
Well, on that very positive note, I want to thank you, Hamish, for being such a great sport, great guest, and having a really insightful and enjoyable chat with us today. Really, really appreciate it. And
thank you, Callum. Thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, my pleasure. Pleasure was all mine. And to you, thank you for watching. As ever, we will see you right here on Student Enterprise TV next Tuesday. If there's a topic you would like us to cover, please drop it down in the comments below or email us tv@acornenterprise.com. See ya!